Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Then Sophia whispered in my ear, "Frank, you're already hard, aren't we?" Her hand slid under my swimsuit, sending a thrill through me. "Sophia, isn't this too fast?" I gasped. She smirked. "Too slow, you mean?" Tipsy from the drinks, I eased her swimsuit strap down, my hands tracing her smooth figure. Her warm skin under my fingertips made me bolder. "My name is Frank, and I'm turning 48 this year. Back in school, I wasn't the most popular kid, but I wasn't totally invisible either, just a regular guy. Amy, who was in my class from elementary to middle school, wasn't someone I paid much attention to back then. She wasn't super outgoing, but had a subtle charm. We weren't totally different, but she seemed to move in her own orbit. Maybe because, as a middle schooler in that wild stage, I was too caught up to think about crushes or dating. I was always playing basketball with friends or deep into video games, while Amy would read books or hang out with her friends, talking softly. "Frank, you were in Amy's class, right? Doesn't she have a mysterious vibe?" My middle school friends would tease. I'd shrug and say, "Nah, she's just an ordinary girl." We went to different high schools, and after graduation, we both launched our careers. Over time, Amy slipped from my thoughts. My old friendships faded, and hometown get-togethers became few and far between. I landed a job at a marketing firm in the city, not far from home, and my daily routine became riding the crowded subway to work, listening to music to start the day. Then one morning, on that same packed subway, I saw a familiar face. My heart raced. It was Amy. At first, we couldn't quite figure out how we knew each other. She tilted her head slightly, her eyes sparking with curiosity. After a few exchanged glances, it finally clicked. "Frank. Wow, it's been forever," Amy said with a warm smile, breaking the ice. "Amy, this is such a crazy coincidence," I replied, grinning. There was a brief, awkward pause, but soon we felt at ease again. We jumped straight into reminiscing. "Do you still play basketball like you used to?" she asked with a playful smirk. I laughed. "These days, I'm out of steam. I just watch from the sidelines." Turns out, Amy was commuting on the same subway line, but we'd never crossed paths before because of different times or train cars. From that day on, we started meeting every morning on the subway, chatting away. It felt like we were reconnecting after years apart, chatting about school days, jobs, and favorite movies. "Frank, do you remember how you always dozed off in science class?" Amy would giggle, teasing me. I'd shoot back. "That's because the teacher was so boring." Having grown up in the same neighborhood gave us common ground, so our talks always flowed smoothly. Soon, we started getting off at the same station and grabbing breakfast together. Over coffee and bagels at a cozy cafe, we got to know each other's lives better. "You look tired today, what's going on?" Amy would ask with a concerned look. I'd reply, "Just swamped with a project deadline." "How about you?" and draw out her stories. Before long, we were hanging out on weekends, exploring the city together. Our bond grew so naturally that we didn't need to say, "Let's date." We just clicked. One day, sitting on a park bench, I cautiously asked, "Amy, don't you think it'd be nice if we just kept being together like this?" Her face turned pink, and she replied, "I was thinking the same thing, Frank." In that moment, I felt a rush of warmth and joy. It seemed almost unreal at first, classmates from elementary through middle school falling in love as adults. But the ease and thrill of being together were impossible to ignore. "Why do I feel so relaxed with you?" I'd chuckle. Amy would smile and say, "I don't know, it just feels right." Soon after we started dating, we shared the news with family and friends, and before long, we were planning our wedding. The meetings between our families went smoothly, and everyone kept asking, "When's the wedding?" Some of our old friends from town were blown away. "Frank and Amy are getting married? That's wild," they'd say. My best friend Jake, who'd known us both forever, was over the moon. "Frank, you and Amy are perfect together." We need a celebration party, Jake said, laughing heartily. He's always been a pro at getting everyone pumped. At our wedding, he spoke for our friends, blending funny school stories with touching moments that had everyone laughing and misty-eyed. Remember when Frank got in trouble for pretending to write a letter to Amy in middle school? That was fate right there, Jake said, and the guests roared with laughter while I looked down, my face burning. Jake and I have been tight for years. He transferred to our elementary school, and at first, he seemed quiet. But one day on the basketball court, he walked up and said, "Frank, want to play a game?" That kicked off our friendship, and we hit it off quickly. In middle school, we sweated it out together on the soccer team, and even after graduation, we stayed in touch, grabbing beers now and then. Amy knew Jake well, too, and conversations with him always left her in stitches. "Jake's such a mood maker," she'd say, laughing. I'd reply, "Tell him that, and he'll be bouncing off the walls." Jake was a precious friend to us both. Soon after we tied the knot, Jake married Sophia, someone he met at his job. Sophia, in her mid-40s, carried herself with poise, every move full of class. "Sophia, how do you handle Jake's endless energy?" I'd joke. She'd laugh. "Sometimes I'm exhausted, Frank." Like us, Jake and Sophia had kids and were around the same age, so our families started hanging out a lot. Whether it was Disneyland trips or camping, seeing our kids play happily made Amy and me share a look, knowing this was true happiness. The years zipped by, and our son turned into an adult this year. The intense parenting days are over, and he's getting ready to be independent. Looking back, when our son was young, balancing work and parenting left little time for just the two of us. The chaos of dual careers and raising a kid meant we often missed each other's rhythms. "Frank, can you come home early today?" "I'm wiped out," Amy would sigh. I'd reply, "Sorry, I might be late tonight," feeling guilty. But thanks to the bonds we built in our hometown and the friends who stayed by our side, we made it through. I'm just starting to see that now. With our son grown and on his own, Amy and I finally got our time back. Weekends became about leisurely brunches or sipping wine while watching Netflix at night. "This wine is amazing. We should do this more often," Amy would say with a smile. I'd tease, "All right, let's make every Friday wine night." We also started hanging out with Jake and Sophia without the kids more often. Their kids, like ours, were growing up and forging their own paths. These adults-only hangouts felt richer than our younger days, and I loved them. Then one day, Jake called, practically buzzing with excitement. "Frank, big news. I thought something was wrong, but it turned out his grandfather had left him a luxurious villa. This is huge. We should all go there together." Jake rambled enthusiastically. Amy and I were all in right away. "Seriously? That sounds incredible," Amy said, her eyes sparkling. I added, "It's been a while since we had a real adventure." We coordinated our schedules, and the four of us, Jake, Sophia, Amy, and I, headed to the villa. It was supposedly near the coast, nestled in a lush, forested hill. I knew Jake's family had money, but I didn't know much about his grandfather, so I had no idea what to expect. On the drive, Jake chattered excitedly, while Sophia teased, "Jake, calm down." Amy and I were just as excited. "Frank, I'm so excited," Amy said, squeezing my hand. I replied, "Me too. It feels like we're headed to a resort." We expected a nice villa, but when we got there, we were floored. Beyond a massive iron gate lay an endless garden. Perfectly manicured lawns and trees lined the path, leading to a grand, European-style mansion. Its classic exterior was updated, looking fresh and timeless. Inside, a soaring ceiling greeted us in the foyer, with countless rooms branching off. Further in, a sunlit living room with huge windows opened to a sparkling pool. "Is this actually a villa?" Amy asked, eyes huge. I laughed. "This is straight up a palace." Jake shrugged. "Told you it was a big deal." Sophia grinned. "Keeping up a place like this must be a pain." We roamed the mansion like excited kids, picking rooms, unpacking, and wandering the garden, where we even found a hot tub. "A hot tub? This is insane," I exclaimed. Jake explained. It was built as a vacation retreat, so they went all out luxurious. Sophia added, I never imagined we'd get to use it. Amy glowed. Even one day here feels magical. I'm snapping tons of photos. That afternoon, we decided to hit the pool. 4 adults in swimsuits felt a little weird at first, but it was a unique opportunity, so I threw mine on. Amy hesitated but then said, Who cares about age? Let's have fun, and stepped out in a swimsuit that subtly showed off her figure. I froze. She'd always been beautiful, but seeing her like this after so long sent my pulse soaring. Amy, you look… Wow, I said awestruck. She blushed. Stop, you're embarrassing me, but smiled. Jake jumped into the pool with his typical enthusiasm, while Sophia, despite her calm vibe, swam with grace. Sophia, I didn't know you were such a strong swimmer, I said, impressed. She smiled. It's my stress reliever sometimes. The 4 of us goofed off in the water like young kids, playing until sunset. No kids means we can go wild, Amy laughed. I agreed. It's been ages since we turned off parent mode. Next, we slipped into the hot tub to relax. The warm water and bubbles eased all our stress. With drinks in hand, we gathered close. This vibe is like a luxury resort, right? I said, marveling. Jake raised his glass. Exactly. Will we ever have a day like this again? Feeling the cool garden breeze while sipping drinks, we chatted nonstop, reminiscing, sharing stories about our kids' milestones, and imagining what's next. Our son's already thinking about college. The years go by so fast, don't they? Amy said, a bit nostalgic. Sophia nodded. Tell me about it. Our daughter's preparing to move out. It's a lot. As the drinks kept coming, our talk got more daring. It started with light-hearted banter, reminiscing about old crushes. Then Jake, with a playful smirk, asked, What would it be like to spend a day with someone else? What's that supposed to mean? Amy laughed, brushing it off, though her face turned pink. Sophia smirked. Could be fun, no? A new experience isn't always bad. I chuckled. Are you guys for real? But inside, I was intrigued. After 20 years of raising kids, our marriage sometimes felt predictable. I still loved Amy, but the daily routine had dimmed our passion. We had to admit that. Frank, you've never thought about it. Jake teased. I confessed, honestly, maybe a little. It seemed we all shared a similar curiosity. The conversation veered into the risque idea of partner swapping. Could that actually work? Amy asked carefully, but her eyes showed she was curious. Sophia said calmly, Why not? We're all adults. If everyone agrees, anything's possible. Jake laughed. This is getting interesting. In the hot tub's warm water, with drinks easing our guard, lines started to fade. We exchanged glances, as if silently confirming our agreement. Amy gave a shy smile, but didn't hesitate. Her eyes lit up with curiosity. Jake's playful tone carried a hint of seriousness in his gestures. Sophia watched us with a serene smile, but behind it was a quiet resolve. The 4 of us, lounging in the hot tub, were caught up in a wild vibe. The usual personal boundaries started to slip away. Our eyes locked, and an unspoken understanding passed between us. Then Jake put his arm around Amy's shoulder, pulling her closer. Frank, you're not going to get jealous, right? He teased, glancing at me. My pulse raced, but I kept it chill. If you can handle her, go for it. At that moment, Sophia took my arm and leaned in. Frank, I won't get jealous either. Shall we have some fun? Her voice was gentle, but her eyes had a bold spark. Her warmth in her swimsuit got my heart pounding. Jake finished his drink and kissed Amy. Her face turned pink, and her gaze transformed into something purely feminine. She wrapped her arms around his neck, their lips locking deeply. Watching them, jealousy and thrill mixed inside me. The jealousy was there, but stronger was a strange thrill. Seeing Amy's ears turn red and her breathing quicken pulled me in even more. Then Sophia whispered in my ear, Frank, you're already hard, aren't we? Her hand slid under my swimsuit, sending a thrill through me. Sophia, isn't this too fast? I gasped. She smirked. Too slow? You mean? Tipsy from the drinks, I eased her swimsuit strap down, my hands tracing her smooth figure. Her warm skin under my fingertips made me bolder. The hot tub's warm water amped up every feeling. Sophia's hand glided up my thigh, boldly moving to my core, and my body reacted instantly, trembling with heat. Her touch was soft but powerful, and a low groan slipped out as I caught my breath. Sophia, this is too much. I panted. She leaned in, her lips brushing my ear. Shoo, just feel it, her hot breath sending shivers down my spine. Her body pressed against mine in the water, the soft, warm touch breaking down my control. As her touch deepened, pushing me toward climax, I gripped her shoulders, breathing heavily, surrendering to the waves of pleasure. The release was intense, flooding me with a raw thrill I hadn't felt in ages. Glancing over, I saw Amy and Jake. Amy leaned against his broad chest, completely melted into his touch. Her half-closed eyes were lost in pleasure, and as his hands roamed her waist, her moans grew bolder. Jake, more, she whispered, breathless, her body trembling as she peeked. Her raw, unguarded expression sparked a wild thrill in me, pushing aside any jealousy. Seeing Amy in such a wild, unguarded state only fueled my desire. We climbed out of the hot tub onto the soft grass, ready to let go completely. Sophia's lips grazed my neck, trailing lower, her warm breath and playful tongue completely undoing me. Her touch drove me to the edge, and I pulled her close, lost in her soft skin and warmth. Sophia, I can't hold back anymore, I groaned. Then let go, Frank, she whispered. The climax surged through me, an intense release that felt timeless, my whole body buzzing with pleasure. Amy and Jake, too, were lost in each other on the grass, their bodies entwined in deepening pleasure. Amy's moans grew raw and primal, her movements rhythmic, like a dance. Her sharp cry as she peeked cut through the night, hitting me deep. The look of satisfaction and total surrender on her face ignited me further. In my younger days, I'd have been consumed by jealousy and confusion in a situation like this. But now it was different. This physical pleasure, like a guilty thrill, was electrifying and addictive. With drinks, a relaxed vibe, and everyone's agreement, guilt or hesitation melted away. Watching Amy find pleasure with someone else freed me, and that freedom let my desires burn without limits. When it was over, I caught my breath and looked at Amy, lying on the grass. A sly smile crossed her face, blending satisfaction, playfulness, and a touch of boldness. Frank, how was it? She whispered, taking my hand. I'll never forget this, I said, still catching my breath. Sophia chuckled softly. Next time, let's make it even wilder, Jake grinned, nodding. Our laughter, the soft grass, and our lingering warmth blended, and I knew this night was beyond just fun. It was unforgettable. We were wiped out and crashed into a deep sleep. The next morning, waking up felt like emerging from a dream. There was a bit of disorientation, but the dreamlike place gave us a strange calm. We didn't bring up the previous night, but the four of us were as relaxed as always. Over a simple breakfast and a walk in the garden, we lightly touched on it. Last night was like a movie, I said with a laugh. Jake chimed in, right? When can we do this again? Amy smiled. This villa made it feel like a whole different world. Sophia added softly, this memory's going to stay with us forever. No one expressed guilt, nor did we flaunt what happened. A quiet understanding passed between us. On the drive back, Amy and I didn't dig into it either. That was so much fun. The villa was incredible, we said, keeping it light. But Amy's face had a warm afterglow, and I felt a mix of contentment and fresh energy in our marriage. Amy, you're okay, right? I asked cautiously. She smiled. Yeah, it was different. You. Her smile reassured me, and I said, me too. It feels like something new. Not long after, Jake called. Frank, want to hit the villa again? His voice hinted at that night's vibe. I'd half expected it, and Amy readily agreed. Let's go. I teased. What, another round? She laughed. We'll see when we get there. We were already hooked on the idea. When we returned to the villa, we indulged in another secret adult escape. After crossing that line once, the walls came down easier than expected. Any early doubts had vanished. Is it really okay to keep doing this? I wondered aloud at one point. Sophia replied gently, "If we're all enjoying it and no one's hurt, why not?" Jake laughed. "Life's short. Frank, live it up." Amy smiled. "We're all adults here." Those experiences shook up our marriage. The past few years, our time as a couple had dwindled, and age had nearly erased our intimacy. But this experience rekindled our spark, not quite like newlyweds, but close. "Amy, you've gotten even more beautiful lately," I'd say, pulling her close. She'd laugh. "What's with you?" But her eyes were warm. After over 20 years of marriage, it's easy to get stuck in a routine, especially after raising kids. Even after the kids left, exhaustion and familiarity took over. But now, the fire was back. Some might raise eyebrows, but what matters to me is that Amy and I stay solid. If this were just fleeting curiosity, we wouldn't have built a family for decades. Our trust with Jake and Sophia runs deep, too. They're not in it for shallow fun either. They get the importance of family and seem to honor boundaries. Since then, we've gone to the villa once or twice a month or hosted house parties. We don't tell the kids, who are wrapped up in their own worlds. Taking advantage of that, we keep enjoying our private grown-up fun. If this got out, we'd be in big trouble, huh? I'd joke. Jake would laugh. Then we keep it hush-hush. What we're doing might be hard for the world to understand, but I feel a fulfillment I've never known. The twist that it's spiced up our marriage makes me laugh. "Frank, we're such an odd pair," Amy would tease. I'd pull her close. "Makes it more fun, doesn't it?" Sometimes I start overthinking. What if someone finds out? Is this really okay? But so far, there's been no issue, and things with Amy are solid. My friendship with Jake is still strong, and my vibe with Sophia feels easy. I used to think adulthood narrowed your perspective, but this has unexpectedly broadened mine. I'm enjoying this. Loving Amy while trying new thrills is something younger me would have shot down flat. Now, I think, if no one's forced, what's the harm? It's not reckless. It's a fresh way to bond, built on a tight, trusted group. It's become a meaningful part of our lives. We still hold our families dear. Camping trips mean snapping photos and laughing, and we beam with pride over our kids' growth. We're no different from other friends, except for our private moments, which feel clean and respectful, like a unique ritual. Someday, we might get bored, or problems could pop up. But for now, I'm reassured knowing we're adults choosing this willingly. Amy and I have worked hard raising our son and building careers. Calling this a reward feels strange. But if we can enjoy freedom within our set limits, isn't that a legit way to live? Jake sometimes jokes, "Frank, how about a Hawaii resort? Let's party there." I laugh. Hawaii's a bit much, isn't it? But secretly think that'd be wild. Picturing an adults-only getaway at a fancy resort gets my pulse going. I haven't deeply probed how Amy feels about all this, but her expressions show she's content, maybe even loving it. Our connection feels tighter, like we're falling for each other again. I've always known how to read her subtle cues, and now she seems relaxed, her vibe soft and warm. "Amy, you're seriously more gorgeous every day," I'll say. She'll laugh. "What's gotten into you?" But her eyes glow. Our connection with Jake and Sophia will likely continue. The villa brings just the right kick to our routine. Back home, we have work, daily life, and our roles as parents. We fulfill those diligently while occasionally surrendering to these secret adult moments. The balance feels just right. There are small bumps, but I have no regrets about our lifestyle. I'll keep savoring this grown-up adventure, feeling our marriage grow stronger along the way.